Most founders quietly say they want more people in the office.
I see a lot of folks trying to do this hybrid thing, but they're creating a bunch of subcultures.
The distributed workforces of today are radically different than when Wade started. They're radically different, and I'll tell you the number one reason why. And maybe, Wade, I'm wrong. Before March 2020, when people were distributed, they worked one job. Today, I would say the majority of revenue professionals work multiple jobs. They work multiple side hustles. Some of them work two jobs simultaneously. When March 2020 hit, we laughed when we heard those stories of engineers working, 4-6 hour jobs.
I think the thing that helps is it does force the management job to get much different if you're going to do sort of like a remote job. And you have to be really clear about what the bar looks like. And I think in part because of what Jason's talking about, if people are doing 9 other jobs, they're probably not going to be very good at any one of them. But if you know what excellence looks like in, sales or support or engineering or whatnot, and they're hitting that bar, I kind of don't care if they have a side hustle or if they're doing something else. In some ways, it might actually help them. They might learn a few things that they wouldn't naturally learn on the job, but as long as they're hitting that bar, the challenge is not a lot of managers are really good at managing performance to that degree. That's a skill that you just have to learn to get better at over time. And it's taken us a while to get good at it as well, too. And I don't even know that we're great at it yet, to be honest. We're still learning.
When we think about remote work versus in-person, feels like there's kind of that dichotomy between more access to a talent pool / employees are happier, this is the norm, against on the other side, how do you keep culture tight? How do you maximize productivity? Are those the two sides that you both see?
But they're not. The problem is, when Wade started doing this, to some extent, it did lead to employee happiness, right? At least the folks that self-selected on that, the folks that were willing to do the daily scrums outside of engineering, that were willing to do what it took to make distributed work. I actually think people are generally the unhappiest they've been in tech in my entire career today. The unhappiest they have been across the board. And there were, 2021 was crazy, right? It was a crazy boom, right? 2022 was like a knife falling down, right? In terms of public companies. 2023 was the year of layoffs. 2024 is the year of efficiency. And now every public company is twice as efficient as they were 2.5 years ago, or even 24 months ago, 18 months ago, they're twice as efficient. And I think that this whole debate has changed because I don't think any of this makes people happier. I don't think working from home has made people happier. I don't think going to the office, a subset of folks are happier in the office, right? It is kind of fun to see people. But I don't think there's any magic way to make people happy. You can have a no layoff policy. I've watched a lot of startups do that in this crazy environment, right? People are worried they're going to get laid off. It doesn't make people happier. Wade and I talked years ago about profit sharing. Doesn't make people happier. We have to, as leaders, we have to make people happier. But actually, I think it's harder in 2024. I don't think just letting people work from home, it's become table stakes. And like a lot of things, table stakes doesn't make you happy.
Fair play.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. I think, at the end of the day, I think there is a cultural element to it. People like to do well. And if your recruiting engine is dialed in well and you get the right folks in, you're going to have a higher chance of just building a company that wins at the end of the day. And you can do that remotely. You can do that in an office. You can do that hybrid. There's a lot of ways to do it. But it is all harder than it was 5 years ago.
Is there any kind of parting wisdom that you would have for how folks should think about this and make decisions for hiring in 2024?
I mean, the best advice I'd have is have one culture. And I think that's the toughest thing is that I see a lot of folks trying to do this hybrid thing, but they're creating a bunch of subcultures. I feel like that's the hardest thing to do. So look, if you want to do all in office, do all in office. If you want to do all remote, do all remote. If you want to do hybrid, that's okay too, but you have to think about it. It's if I was trying to do hybrid, I might actually say, you know what, I'm going to do hybrid all in one city. And we're going to come to the office 2 days a week and, or 3 days a week or whatever, and not the rest of the time. But I don't think you get the geographic advantages going that way, but you do get the team cohesion advantages of all being relatively close. But I think that puts everyone on the same playing field, same operating cadence, etc. The anyone can do anything sort of thing, that feels like it's just really tough to have any sort of standards and expectations. I wouldn't know operationally how to really make that work. That feels like the hardest.
Angles and insight, available now on all major podcast platforms.